Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain, my pronouns are she, her, and I am your GM for this adventure. With me are my heroes for this campaign. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi there, I'm Alice. I play Desdemona Hartwood. Both of us use she and they pronouns, and Desdemona is a Rose Heart Guardian. She is a sort of gothy, punky kind of magical girl with a heart of pink.
Hi, I'm Skylin. My pronouns are they and them, and I play Chris Whitlock, whose pronouns are she or any. Chris is our firebrand artillery and is our very sportsy, magical not a girl who is currently working out what it is that she is scared of.
And I am Rob. My pronouns are he, him, and I play Eliza, whose pronouns are she, her. Eliza is our stalwart soul warrior magical girl, and she is having a nice birthday.
Indeed, after the plans for a surprise birthday were unexpectedly interrupted, you all have sort of spent time with a more calm and personal birthday with the specter of Dez's parents in the background. And as Dez and David and Deb sit down at their kitchen table, what's going through your head right now, Dez?
I think Des is pretty tired and kind of thinking that she's just got to get through whatever this conversation is. I don't think she's thinking all that much. Just kind of going along with it.
Fair enough. It's been quite a day.
Yeah.
Deb's the first one to speak up. So, what is this? And she gestures to the dress and the wings.
Uh, I'm magic. She kind of shrugs.
And you've been doing this for how long?
A couple of months now.
And you described this as a job to do?
She kind of blinks at her mother. Yeah, I protect people. I'm good at it. And she pops her shield out.
Oh,
Seems to be what my powers are built for.
well, that's quite a piece.
She kind of shrugs and tosses her shield in the air before it disappears again.
She folds her arms. Are you planning on moving out?
Uh, oh, are you kicking me out?
Never. But your friends had some opinions. I wanted to know if you shared them.
I know that you haven't exactly been happy with my transition. I I haven't really talked to my friends about you. They don't know much about you. I guess I don't know a ton about you, and she kind of grabs at her dress and like s- scrunches it up a little bit. I, you don't really know much about me either.
Des, roll read a soul.
See, at least we established that the research thing doesn't it doesn't matter anyways. That's a 6.
Ugh. Her expression doesn't seem to change when you say that.
Jazz goes, I, I'm not planning on moving out if you're not kicking me out. Um,
David chimes in. We're never going to do that. He gives a glance back in the direction of where the pool house is. Deb continues. This outfit, does this make you uncomfortable?
Des looks down at her outfit, kind of unclenches and smooths the dress back out. It it did. I really didn't like this.
She sits back. There is the slightest change in her face.
But I talked to Dad. This in the same way that putting a dress on doesn't make me a woman. Wearing all this pink, being stereotypically feminine doesn't take away from who I am.
That is very true. If it bothers you, why don't you stop? No one's making you do this, right?
Uh, n- no, no one's making me do this. I, I definitely do have a choice. It's not much of one. Help protect people I care about or don't. So not much of a decision, but for a while there I was trying to avoid it. When Des swallows hard, when I first figured myself out and realized I was gonna have to, come out, I the biggest thing I was scared about was coming out to you, Mom, because I didn't want you to hate me or not want me in your family.
I don't hate you. I'm just worried. You don't. And that's the first time that she's actually interrupted a sentence in this whole thing. I'm just worried that you're going to regret it.
Regret which, Mom?
Well, up until earlier, that would have been obvious, but I'm worried about you regretting your choices, and I'm worried about you getting hurt.
I was already getting hurt. This has been the first chance in my life that I've had the opportunity to not be getting hurt every day.
So then you just run into another situation where you're going to get hurt?
I'm running into a situation where I can protect people. Being me is special, and not just because of the magic powers. I I don't have a responsibility necessarily to help people, but I really want to.
She doesn't have anything to say to that. She's just looking at you intently with a look that looks like she's trying to pick you apart.
Why is any of this a problem? The the magic, the monsters, that's one thing. but it doesn't really feel like it's about that at all.
Like I said, I don't want you to regret anything.
Do you know, um, people like me, uh, people talk to them all the time. They ask, like, was it worth it? What regrets do you have so far down the line? And I think if any of them have a major regret, it's that I didn't do it sooner. I'm lucky. I figured it out so early. I get to be me for a long time. There's not going to be some point in the future where I regret being me. The only thing I could possibly regret is the time I spent not being me. It felt like I wasn't a person before.
Desdemona, roll sway.
The dice do not like me today. Maybe we shouldn't go in the gray today. That is a 4.
And would conviction or would courage help that?
Yeah, this is worth burning courage on. I'll turn the 1 into a 4. So that is a 7 total.
I don't get it. How can you like that?
You're a woman. What? What do you mean, how can I like it? Every day, I would wake up, and there would be this weight on my chest. And I thought that was normal. I thought everybody felt that way. And I I hated myself the whole time until I met me. And then I found out that I'm not supposed to feel that way. Feeling weighing down on me was self-loathing hatred of who I was. I mean, it's not fair to who I was, but it's because I wasn't being me. It's not a matter of liking it or not, Mom. It's life or death. Being a person or not being a person.
You've told me this before, and I promise you I'm trying to understand. Heck, I've tried to put myself in your shoes.
Oh, you've pictured being a woman? That's pretty good, I gotta say.
She gives you a look. What I'm trying to say is that I've tried imagining making the same choice that you made. And I cannot begin to imagine how you are happy with this.
Sorry, Mom. Are you saying you tried to picture yourself as a guy?
She nods.
And that felt bad, right?
She nods again.
Yeah. It's what we in the community call gender dysphoria. And it's what I felt when people thought I was a guy.
She blinks. But it's the other way around for you.
There are trans men too, Mom. It goes both ways. It goes lots of ways. It's not this. This wasn't a choice I made on a whim. It was the only choice I had. I was getting away from that feeling.
She seems to be turning this over in her head. Law is so much easier.
I won't deny that one. It is an ongoing conversation in my community. It's complex, doesn't begin to cover it, and it is complex, but it does make it hard sometimes.
So, your discomfort isn't about the pink.
um, I told Dad this already.
He mentioned. I'm just trying to. She inclines her head a bit. It's not about the pink. It's about living as a man. Even though that was the default.
Yeah, default settings, not really my style. I didn't like the pink initially. Maybe for the same reason that you don't go to court in all pink. Um,
Okay, but I actually liked that musical. Even
uh,
if it's not realistic at all, it is fun.
I think I think when she gets to the it's not realistic at all part, I think Des and David are both joining with it. It's not realistic at all. Um, when you look a particular way, people make assumptions about what you are like.
Hmm.
And when you're a girl like me, those assumptions can be pretty dangerous.
I was not kidding when I said I was worried about you getting hurt. But I don't want you to get hurt either because of regret or something that you're in the path of. She's looking more uncomfortable than she was. So, I also wanted to touch on your friend Eliza. And from here, Eliza, what are you doing?
Eliza is currently on the couch talking to Jesse and Faith, and we just got to her saying, Sid Vicious was everything dark and nihilistic and unpleasant about punk rock, and that is why we remember him so well.
That just sounds unpleasant.
Yeah, punk rock isn't really about pleasant. Rock music has always been about pain and about darkness and about being something. It's about your experience, and if you take that out, all you have left is pop.
And not like Elvis?
Let's be real, Elvis was basically pop. Like, the line hadn't been drawn musically yet, and from a musical perspective, he's closer to rock and roll, but yes.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word for that.
Mm. It's like the difference between the Beatles and the Rolling Stones.
Who?
Beatles are pop. What?
Who are the Rolling Stones? I thought that was just like a saying.
And I think we just get like a shot where the screen seems to shatter as we're watching this because Eliza is just broken now.
Jesse stands up. They've been a minute. I'm gonna go check on Chris and Hazel.
Hey, I need to process.
Yeah, I can't blame you. And Jesse also steps outside, looks around, and crosses the grass. Whitlock, glass.
Jesse gets there just in time to hear Chris say, "That's not what I'm afraid of."
Oh, sorry.
Chris nuzzles further into Hazel anyway.
And Jesse sits down as the two of you finish talking. Rough day?
Chris just pokes Jesse with the toe of her shoe and points at her face, which is soaked.
Jesse is quiet for a moment and just lets you catch your breath. Once you seem like you've recovered a little bit, Jesse just says, I'm listening.
I already told you, Jesse.
I know it's scary to trust people with your heart, but you can do it. And it hasn't gone wrong yet.
Chris's face, for Jesse's eyes, goes from some sort of uncertain hope to a deep frown.
Looks up. It would be a shame to burn this place to the ground, though. It is kind of nice.
What'd you say?
Fuck.
Eliza's voice echoes from some kind of conversation that's going on in the pool house.
It has gone wrong, Jesse. Chris sort of rearranges herself, very much still in Hazel's arms, just facing Jesse more thoroughly now. I told you, Jesse, nobody... My kind of love doesn't have a place in... She, gestures a little bit.
Her arm bumps into Hazel's.
And she retracts that. And she actually leans against Hazel again. And volleyball house is kind of the exception. People either think it's more or think it's too much. How am I supposed to fit in a place like that? I don't want to get hurt. I don't think I've said that out loud before.
They smile. I'm proud of you.
Chris's face does this thing where she's frowning and crying, but it's one of relief. She digs her body further into Hazel's embrace, and
Hazel pulls you closer.
Hazel, you live in that house for a reason. I don't remember that reason anymore. But there has to be one. Right?
I mean, makes sense to me. Thanks for trusting me, I guess.
Chris gives a soft smile and reaches up to smooch Hazel on the cheek. And as she pulls away, it's not from fear, and it's not from worry about her body doing things that she can't remember why it's doing. It's just a softness that Hazel has not really seen before. And it happens to smell like fruit.
I'll have your back no matter what. I promise. And for the record, they're all pretty cool. I think you'll be okay with them.
Chris gives a half smile, and it's genuine. Thanks. Why did you... You promised people wouldn't forget me.
Oh. I just thought that might be what you were worried about. And she kind of puts a hand on the back of her neck for a moment, then returns to the hug.
Chris looks at Jessie with a question mark on her face. She can't read people for shit, so she's looking for Jessie's help.
Jessie's wearing that smile that's like, I can tell you're not saying everything. Chris is familiar with this because she has seen it pointed at her entirely too many times. Are you sure about that glass? Hazel looks at Jessie. Well, we can have that conversation another day. And as Hazel says that, she looks up and sees the Hartwood family crossing their driveway again, back toward the pool house. Eliza, what do you do when the doors open and you see three of them?
Eliza cuts off in mid-note from where she was playing, I think, Sympathy for the Devil, and just kind of looks up at the three of them. We all good, Des?
Yep. I think so. She kind of looks over at her parents for confirmation.
They nod, and Deb in particular pulls up a seat opposite the table that is in front of the couch that you're sitting on. Eliza, right?
Mhm.
I'm given to understand that you are currently living on your own.
That's correct.
Desdemona explained your situation, and we wanted to let you know that if you need a place to stay, we have a spare room.
Oh. Well, I'm good for now, but I appreciate the offer.
All right. Well, then we'll leave you all to it.
Eliza shoots Des a confused look.
Des gives Eliza like a small smile.
We get a shot of like Eliza just kind of looking back and forth from Des to the door where her parents just left. Oh, that was weird.
It was a weird conversation overall. So, I guess we're staying on brand.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This has been weird for a few months now, so at this point, I'm just kind of taking it in stride.
I want to go back to monster hunting. That made more sense to me.
How does that make more sense?
I mean, there's a problem. I've got a sword. The problem is solved with stabbing. That's easy. Although, that one coming after you, that's new. That's different, isn't it? Because, like, I thought they were going to stop coming after us now that we'd gotten our hands on the sword and we had control of the portal.
Well, they were able to get out before they had the sword, right?
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Maybe it's just the strong ones that get out.
Maybe.
Does like cracks her knuckles.
Do little hearts fly out of them?
Oh, of course.
There you go.
Because she has not detransformed for what it's worth.
Yeah. So, maybe this one came from somewhere else. Because, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Faith's face turns pale. It's like, please don't. Please don't jinx it.
Des, what did this one look like?
Uh, now that you mention it, it did look a little different. Uh, it kind of looked like, I don't know, it was weird, almost like someone dipped it in gold or something.
Eliza plays a sour note on her guitar when you say that.
Why is that bad?
The ones we fought? Black and purple?
Mm-hmm. Cool color scheme.
This one was gold, you said.
Lamer color scheme.
The ones I dealt with in LA were gold, and they came out of a oh. The ones in LA were, remember the Twin Powers, light and dark? All the ones
Yeah.
we've been dealing with in town up till now were dark ones, but the gold ones in LA were light.
Okay. Do Does
Uh,
that change things? I still took it down.
You did, and good job for that, by the way, but it means we've got another source of them.
oh no.
Eliza stands up, holding the guitar. Says, we've got to deal with this first grave fast.
And I think that's a good spot for us to wrap up this episode. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening, and thank you to my players. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.